Well, hello there, YouTube. Welcome to a stunningly beautiful Monday, the 5th of June of 2023. It was 32 degrees this morning. It was freezing. And it's supposed to get up to like 78 or something. Man, talking about some crazy temperature swings. Crazy that it was that cold this morning. I don't know if that might be a record breaker for June. I have no idea. There's not even so much as a cloud in the sky. That little special about that little hummingbird out here humming over is like looking at me like, If I see the eyes of the camera, go, is there something in the eyes of that thing? Something I can stick my beak in for some nectar? Anyway, shame I have to go to work and waste a beautiful day like today. Man, she's a knockout. All right, let's get her done. Wow. It is just amazing out here this morning. It's 60 degrees down here. Look at them skies. Man, perfect day to take a motorcycle rip for sure. Temperatures are just perfect, nice breeze. Wonderful.
How about you're a knucklehead?
Dang it, Mama. Monday's done come around again.
It did. She's an evil little woman.
Oh, man, it's so windy and nice out there.
It is. It's like laying
from 32 degrees to 69. How does that happen?
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it was cold this morning.
Yeah, buddy. Holy moly. Well, Mama.
Yes, I have.
Have yourself a wonderful Monday.
You too.
We'll see you as the day goes on. I hope. When it's like Freaky Friday, I think I asked you about parts or something once or twice, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit the road running. I imagine it's going to be that way today, too.
I'm thinking so. I got to fix everything that broke.
Yeah. The weekend's disaster. Go through, fix them all.
Yep.
All right, Mama.
All right.
Love you. See you. Bye.
I love you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
I think I may have an arachnophobia problem. And there's several sitting outside. You can see the trunk of one. Yeah. This is one that was just here. A couple weeks ago. Doing a brake light switch recall on it. And she gets the thing home. She lives from quite a ways away. And somewhere along the line there, she doesn't start. So, the service writers can't diagnose it over the phone. So it sounds, what she's describing sounds like a bad battery. So she gets a battery from somewhere, and it's installed correctly, actually. Kind of cross-threaded one of the screws that hold the battery, the outside plastic cover, but luckily they didn't force it. They realized something was wrong and stopped. I was able to correct the threads. But starter motor, how about that? Never seen a starter motor go out in this thing. So at first it could be, the sprag gear or the one-way clutch or the starter. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't even remember where the starter is on these. We've never had a starter problem with these, ever. So I pulled it up in the manual, and you go into the starter section. Well, one of the first things you start talking about is that sprag gear housing, which is an assembly, a one-way gear assembly. Step 1, remove the engine from the frame. So now I'm, doing a whole bunch of Hail Marys and everything else. Please let it be a starter. So I put an amp clamp on the, the input wire to the starter and put it in peak mode, the highest. It was bouncing all over the place, and it was bouncing so fast I couldn't see what it was. But it's not turning the engine over. But it peaked at 23 amps. Most of what I was seeing is in the teens or less. So then I checked the battery, hook up to the battery and see what kind of draw it's pulling from the battery. Just a voltage draw. It was only drawing a half a volt. Yeah, definitely a dead starter. Makes the craziest sound I've ever heard a starter make. But yeah, she's definitely bad. Can't be a sprag gear. Well, if it is, you got to have a starter motor in there first. But the starter's not even turning fast enough to do anything. It's just making a noise. It is not turning the engine over at all. A bad sprag gear would actually turn the motor over, believe it or not. However, we've seen with some like Yamaha ATVs of yesteryear, 660 Raptors to be exact, where in Yamaha V-Stars, the 1100 V-Stars, where that sprag gear will go bad and it would spin the motor. Well, the starter motor is just an alternator running backwards. So when that sprag gear locks up, it turns that starter. Starters run at a maximum about 700 RPMs. Well, when they're running, 2, 3, 4,000 RPMs, they make a grenade. It's actually pretty impressive how they come apart. They can't spin that fast. They literally just blow up, literally. But if for some reason that sprag gear is stuck and spun that starter motor, that could damage the starter. But there's no way to tell until we get a starter in it. It could potentially be more than that. So anyway, we got that diagnosed. This one's got a bad VCM. The VCM thinks the brakes are on, even though the brake light's not on. The switches work correctly, and it says it's triggered the low brake pressure sensor, which it's not. The VCM is what measures that pressure. Now there's two switches, one for the brake light and one if the pedal goes too far. If it goes that far, that means there's low pressure for it to reach that. So I forget what it was, somewhere around 500 PSI is about when you have to test that switch. It's just a test. After you bleed the brakes, they want you to do that test. Make sure that it doesn't trigger. I think it's around 500 PSI. But the computer is saying that the brakes just sitting here are 1,200 and something PSI. It thinks that's the line pressure. Trust me, something would give. At 1,200 PSI, something's gonna let the pressure off. And then it shows that the low pressure has gone off, and it's gone off at almost 2,300 PSI. So there's no external repair for a VCM, and I think they're crazy expensive. If it's a BMW, they're in excess of $3,000. I've never had to replace one. Cable Upstairs said years ago he had to replace one. Never had to replace one. But yep, this one's bad. And the odds of that part even being available, parts are the old Spyders. Most of the parts are coming from, a third parties that BRP sold all this old stuff to. BRP has kind of washed their hands of it, There's some things that are interchanging with stuff that's current, so you can get that. But yeah, my kid's working on an old Spyder, and he's regretting life. I knew I shouldn't have taken it in. At home. And yeah, it's nuts. Parts problems, big time. Stay away. These were the most buggy of the Spyders. And random things, throttle bodies, clutch problems, VCM apparently. I've never had to replace one before, but I don't know what his record of changing his brake fluid is. That's usually what kills a BMW. Someone that doesn't do his normal maintenance. But anyway, besides that, I keep warning you guys, and people keep buying them. You ain't watching my videos, I reckon. Inside that box is some really cool stuff. Most of it is for the Axial early Ford Bronco. And this may be kind of funky, and I may not like it, but we'll see. I've seen others doing it, and digging in, doing some research, I figured out where they're getting and what. But that's those G8 compound Proline BF Goodrich KM3s. It's a little stiffer compound, which is fine for our area. But yeah, and there's some other stuff. There's one thing that's specifically for the Red Cat Gen 9 that I kind of looked under the front wheel well, and I said there's something that's going to make a part that I ordered by accident work. So that showed up in there too. And then something that can be shared between the, actually can be shared between all the non-lifted TRXs and all of the Red Cats. So I don't know how. I'm going to make sure it's specific to the Gen 9 and the early Ford Bronco. It'll allow those. I should be able to interchange because they're about the same weight. I think Gen 9's slightly heavier, but it'll do the same thing. Cool stuff. I've used them before on my K10. I'll leave it at that. Craziest thing ever. I was on the other side and, I did a sprocket recall on this thing. Thankfully, his is one of the ones that came off. But anyway, I'm looking at that back tire and I'm going, dude, that thing looks crazy low. So I'm looking at this one, I'm going, well, that one seems okay. Almost seems a little tight, It's in the right front. It's like wrapped around that because, they don't fit all the way on my rack. So it's like wrapped around the rack. So 9.5 on the right front, 11 pounds in the rear. That's the one that caught my attention. And 42 pounds in this. I think that exceeds the beating pressure on that thing. I don't know, I can't see that well, but yeah, I'm sure that exceeds beating pressure. And absolutely unsafe for riding on the road. Hope he didn't ride it down here because that had to be a handful. That thing is probably wibbling and wobbling. You've probably seen that VSS little symbol multiple times on the trip here. Maybe you should consider, if not a service, at least a thorough inspection. But he got a free belt adjustment and free tires out of me. Adjustment. But yeah, that's pretty crazy to see pressures that far off. And the 42 in the left front, what is that all about? I think this thing sits in a barn or something. It is nasty. It's just really dusty, like it's sitting in an old barn or something. So, been home here for about an hour and a half. So excited. Got those wheels and the tires that I've been talking about. So, I couldn't get the correct size. I ordered and ended up again ordering a set of Class 1 tires from Amazon. The tiny tires. They're 4.19 inches outside diameter instead of the normal 4.75 or 4.72, depending on the tire. So I have to go to Proline. And to my utter shock, Proline is now owned by Horizon Hobbies. Everything is getting like destroyed in RC world from Horizon Hobbies. I ain't seen any good come out of this. People that are diehard Axial lovers, they're all pissed off that they're changing the radios. They say the quality's not as good and so on and so forth. I keep getting different comments and stuff. I don't know any of that, but I know my dealings with Horizon Hobby has been less than favorable. So Proline says I need to log in. So I start with an old email address that I know I used for that from years ago, and it says that email address already exists. And I go, well, yeah, I know. And it's weird, my computer doesn't, anyway, the password doesn't work. So I click the, to reset my password, forgot password or whatever, and it's like a reset thing. Guess who the email comes from? Horizon Hobbies. Horizon Hobbies now even owns the most legendary tires since, the late 80s or 85, somewhere in there? I don't know what it was, but anyway. So I returned that mini set today, and it's a return to Horizon. So Amazon has notes from Horizon saying the package can't be opened. It's got to be in the original container and stuff like that. Thank God I never even opened the box. Well, I get home. The ones that I ordered directly from what it appears to be Horizon, because it's not Proline, and even the receipt that's in the box says Horizon, even though I ordered them from the Proline Racing website. And anyway, get the all excited, cut the 2 bags open, get my wheels out, pull the first tire out, and I'm going, something's not right here. Nowhere on there does it say class 1. But on their website, it does not give you a size. Well, it doesn't say class 1, so it's got to be the normal size, I would assume. It doesn't give you them specs. The bag, literally on the bag, of course I don't see that until after I cut the bags open. On the bag, it says 4.19. Doesn't say class 1 anywhere, but it's the mini tires. So I'm an owner now, so I decided, well, I'll just mount these up on these wheels. They look absolutely ridiculous. They're so small. But the treads are small. There's like half the size lugs as the BF Goodrich KM3s that I just showed you yesterday on the Red Cat 9, Gen 9. And yeah, for almost an hour and 20 minutes, I fought the first wheel. Finally, some good old-fashioned Honda silicone spray got the thing on. Anyway, Proline tires can be tricky at times, but anyway, I got them on. So I'm trying to burn off some frustration and come out here and play with this thing. I dug out Kelly's F-150. Whoa, stared the wrong way. Don't do that. She's out here playing with this thing the other day. Last week sometime. She's out goofing around. She comes walking out. She got the control in one hand, the truck in the other. She goes, how do I turn this thing on? I said, well, it's because I always set them all up and just hand her the remote with the truck on the ground and off she goes. So she came out here and played around a little bit. I don't know where that battery is at. It's got to be weak. But that's the beautiful colored wheels. Those things look good. Really good. Oh, look at her. She's showing off. Doing a little prissy dance thing there. But anyway, I'm going to goof around out here for a little bit. And then Kelly and I will do a goodbye. And that'll be the end of the day. Day of frustration when I got home. But I get over it. I don't stay mad long, thankfully. Alrighty. Well, hello there, YouTube. So I buzzed around here, burned some battery off the old truck. She's sitting here beside us. And burn off some frustration.
Yes.
I go in there and clean up the mess so I can start building my vlog for the one tire I actually got put together. A tiny tire. But I think the wheels you'll get a good idea what they're supposed to do. But that's only, I got some cheap Chinese tires they're going to put on there, but not going to do that on these wheels. I want it to look cool. Though the little tiny wheels tires may not look so cool, but whatever.
It just is what it is.
If I ever do some class 1 competition, which I doubt I'll do that with anything I own. Need different trucks for that. Well, I guess that class 1 is a scale course, so who knows. But anyway, that's tires. For extra points, you use the class 1 tires. Or some of them, depend on the event. You have to use them, so. Anyway.
Well, you have them in case you need them.
Yeah. Yeah, dang it. But anyway, I had fun afterwards, playing around with the truck for a while, and chit-chat with you guys a little bit, and then we're here saying goodbye. And I think that's what we're going to do.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, and you guys have an amazing Tuesday or Wednesday.
Heck yeah. Alrighty.
Alright.
That'll be it.
We'll see you in the morning.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.